Hello, Scotty Reed here with a Black Talk Radio News report and commentary. On this particular podcast, I want to talk about voter purging. I want to talk about registrations being changed because this is going to be a hard-fought primary, especially for the Democrats. I don't know what's going on with the Republicans. I don't think that there's any serious challenge to Donald Trump in the Republican primary. I think that's pretty much a given. I've never seen an incumbent be taken out in a primary going into their second term or the second election. I've never seen it, so I don't think that that's even an issue. But it is an issue with the Democratic primary, and it's an issue, as I'm going to reveal in this podcast for those that don't know, because it wasn't widely covered by the mainstream media in 2016. But there is an issue, or there should be some concern that 2016 DNC primary does not repeat itself. So on Twitter today, I saw that the House Democrats had tweeted out this video, and on the 17th, which I was unaware, but there was a House Judiciary hearing, and I guess it was about voter rolls and people being purged and told that their names weren't on the rolls and going to the polling sites and the machines weren't ready. And if we go back to Arizona 2016, that's a closed primary state, so you had to be registered in whatever party you wanted to participate or cast a vote in that primary, and people were changed to independents or changed to Republicans when they were Democrats. And of course it all benefited you know who, Hillary Clinton. And so as we hear all of these McCarthyites in 2019 talk about Russia paying for some Facebook ads or Russia interfering in the election, just know the only real documented election fraud has been done by U.S. governments, whether we're talking about a state government, a county government, or we're talking about the federal government. That's the only proven election fraud that came out of 2016. So let's listen to this video from Representative Sylvia Garcia of Texas, District 29, as she gives testimony at this House Judiciary hearing on the 17th.
I agree with you. I personally have experienced receiving a purging letter. I've experienced getting to the poll and being told that my name was on the list. I've experienced going to a poll and machines not being ready. I mean, there's so many tools, and I was glad to see that Mr. Tyson brought up purging, because I think there's more of that going on, particularly in my home state, regretfully, of Texas. I agree with you. I personally have experienced receiving a purging letter. I've experienced getting to the poll and being told that my name was on the list. I've experienced going to a poll and machines not being ready. I mean, there's so many tools, and I was glad to see that Mr. Tyson brought up purging, because I think there's more of that going on.
Okay, so let's stop it there. Now, Republicans get blamed for voter purging and suppressing votes the most, and it's a well-earned reputation. When you look at what happened to Stacey Abrams down there in Georgia during these last midterm votes, so they have Republican Party, the GOP has earned that reputation. It is not without merit that people take shots at them. But let me tell you though, Democrats have a history of doing it too. Now, I don't recall it ever being an issue with the Democrats purging people in years prior to 2016, but it definitely happened in 2016. There was a lot of voter suppression, registration being changed, people being purged. So on this website, NYC, well, I guess it's City and State, New York. I'm going to read the relevant portion from this article. This was published in 2018, and it took them 2 years to finish their investigation and come out with a report. The DNC primary was over by then. Hillary had stolen the New York primary by then, so what good is it? You didn't do a do-over, even though you knew all these people had been purged. Then New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman would eventually reveal that there were among 200,000 New York City voters who had been illegally wiped off the rolls and prevented from voting in the presidential primary. But by January of 2017, when Schneiderman announced that he would intervene in a federal lawsuit against the New York City Board of Election, which was in the control of Democrats, along with the U.S. Department of Justice, the news fell on deaf ears. The announcement had come just 7 days after President Donald Trump's inauguration. Although it was the first time the total number of purged voters had been disclosed, the media was consumed with a different statistic: the crowd size at Trump's inauguration. At the same time, a snowballing narrative launched by the Clinton campaign, obviously, and people, y'all, just stop being dumb. Stop being dumb. She paid for oppositional research on Donald Trump, trying to link him to Russia and paint this narrative that he's a Russian narrative before she even knew he was going to be the nominee. That's where all of this stems from. No matter who the nominee was going to be, she was going to try to paint him as a Russian asset. And they even had files and tried to whisper that Sanders was a Russian asset, because when he was mayor of Burlington in Vermont, they had a sister city in Russia. And he went to Russia with his wife, and, oh, he's a Russian asset. Man, just stop it. Now, the lack of media attention, at the same time, a snowballing narrative that Russia had hacked the U.S. election would overshadow the indisputable fact that a domestic government agency had committed election fraud. And nobody went to jail. Nobody paid it. I think they might have got a fine. I'm sure Hillary paid it for them or raised the money to get some of her big dollar donors to pay it off. The lack of media attention was in stark contrast to the recent barrage of headlines about a right-wing push to purge eligible voters from the rolls. Much of the media ignored New York's proven case of election fraud, perhaps because they had been facilitated by Democrats and not by Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach, a Republican with a national profile for championing stricter voter ID legislation. So we had to stop allowing feelings of loyalty to political parties and stop all of this partisanship, man, and just be truthful and be honest and have integrity and be objective. Yes, the Republicans purge people from rolls or suppress votes and what have you and remove voter protections. And I think there's a big case coming up before the Supreme Court. But let's not ignore the fact that the only proven case of election fraud in 2016 wasn't proven to have been Russians. It was proven to have been Democrats. Now, I'm going to advise everyone who sees this video to go online and check your voter registration. You should do it now. If you're in a closed primary state, that means that you have to be registered as a Democrat or a Republican if you want to vote in their primaries. If you're independent, you cannot vote. Any independents out there for Sanders, you need to register as a Democrat right now. If any of you Republicans out there want to cross over and help us destroy the neoliberal Clinton machine and the corruption of the DNC, you need to change your registration. Become a dino. Change your registration to Democrat and vote in the DNC primary against the Clinton machine. Because I guarantee you all the other candidates except for Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard is part of that Clinton machine, and they kiss her ring, the queen of rot. Okay? So go check them. So I'm going to check mine right quick. I'm in North Carolina. I've already filled out the fields. And I discovered this earlier, but I just want to document it on this podcast. So I'm going to click search here. And the North Carolina State Board of Elections voter search is not working. It's not working anymore. I never had this issue before. I check it every time there's an election coming up, whether it is what you call them, midterms, or even local elections and things that I always check to make sure that my registration, I can find it online. I can't say right now that there's something nefarious going on here in North Carolina with voter registrations, but this is the first time I've been unable to find my registration. Now, this is a different platform. It looks different than the one that I've used in the past, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe they got a new vendor or whatnot, but they will be hearing from me on Monday. Now, I'm clicking the search button and nothing's coming up. Let me push the enter button on my keyboard. Nothing's coming up. It's just sitting there. So I need to call them tomorrow, which is Monday. The North Carolina State Board of Elections, y'all need to fix y'all website. All right, so that American citizens, U.S. citizens can check their voter registrations. I'm not going to accuse y'all of shenanigans right now, but there's a very important primary coming up and a very important election, and we need to be proactive to prevent any shenanigans and protect the integrity of our elections here in North Carolina. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with a Black Talk Radio News Report and Commentary. Please support the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project, which manages the Black Talk Radio Network and a private social media platform, BTRcommunity.com, with a tax-deductible donation today. You know, there's only 6 media corporations that control 90% of what we read, what we see, and what we hear. And especially when you're talking about black media. So please help support what has been ranked the #1 digital black radio and podcasting platform in the world by a company outside of the United States who was doing independent research, FeedSpot, based in India. All right, so thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe wherever platform you're on and you see this video. Thanks for watching. Peace.